what's going on, everybody? This is Adam Burke from BangTheBook.com, coming to you with a look at Game 3 tonight between the Boston Bruins and the Columbus Blue Jackets as the series shifts to Nationwide Arena down in the capital of Ohio. Over at BangTheBook.com, Parker Michaels will have a great write-up for you on this game later today. We're also covering the NBA playoffs over there with game previews and analysis from our very talented cast of writers. My daily MLB picks and tips piece posted over there as well. If you've missed yesterday's edition of the Bettor's Box, make sure you go back and check that out. You can find that right here on our YouTube page, or you can find it on Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. You'll find Bang the Book Radio there. And that's important because tomorrow I'll be recording a Kentucky Oaks and Kentucky Derby preview with Brian Blessing, the two written previews posted over at BangTheBook.com later on today. All right, let's take a look here at Game 067-068 in the NHL playoffs. The Bruins and the Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets about a minus 120 favorite out there in the marketplace. Total of 5.5, 3-2 scores in the first two games of this series. Both games also went to overtime. And when you look at what's going on here with Game 3, the series does flip to Nationwide Arena. Will be a very, very loud and raucous environment there. It always is for Blue Jackets games, but certainly here during the playoffs. When you look at this line of minus 120, Boston would be a favorite at a neutral site and would clearly be the favorite at home if this game was to be played there. So that's pretty interesting to me that even with the home ice advantage, which is jacked up a little bit in the playoffs, Columbus would still be a neutral site dog here in this one. And you can see why. I mean, Boston was the better team during the regular season. Columbus doing some things here on the power play in the playoffs that they weren't able to do in the regular season. They have kept up the penalty kill, which has been absolutely outstanding. But I think the big narrative coming out of Game 2 is that Columbus was so reliant on Sergei Bobrovsky, who was very, very good with his 50 saves. Tuukka Rask also played very well, and I think his performance overshadowed a little bit by what Bobrovsky has done. But really, outside of the slow start in the first period of Game 1, Columbus has played pretty evenly with Boston overall. Yes, they've capitalized on some of their power play chances, but this was a series expected to be a bit of a grind, a bit of a slugfest at 5-5. These are at 5-on-5, excuse me. These are the two teams that were, some of the slowest in the NHL in terms of 5-on-5 scoring chances. So the series is playing out exactly how we expected it to, and Columbus is still hanging in there and getting some very good goaltending. Now, what's intriguing about this game tonight is that both teams have 2 days off prior to this game. We don't see that a lot in the NHL playoffs. It's more of a happenstance thing in the NBA playoffs. You look at games dating back to the 2017 playoffs, 9-4 to the under with 2 days rest for both teams. So maybe we look for a little bit more of a defensive struggle again tonight. But as far as the betting angle that I'm looking at here, I'm looking at the first period over. First period over 1.5, even money is what I've seen out there. I think this is one of those scenarios where this is a swing game. So if you're a team out there on the ice, you want to play from in front. I think both Boston and Columbus may be a little bit more aggressive, may push the pace a little bit more here in the first period of this game, trying to get that first goal. Now, we have only had 2 goals in 2 games in the first periods of this series, including a shorthanded goal for the Bruins earlier on. But I think that we'll see a very frantic pace. Columbus played at a very frantic pace in the first period of Game 2. They were very, very physical. Sometimes going for those extra hits down below the goal line can create some transition chances for the other team. So I'm looking for both of these teams to try to establish their 5-on-5 presence just a little bit more here in this game. Boston didn't have much of one in the series against Toronto. Columbus has done a very good job 5-on-5 defensively. But I think they want to push it a little bit, keep that crowd going, keep that crowd energized. So I like a fast start here tonight with the first period over in Game 3 between the Bruins and the Blue Jackets. As far as the full game goes, I think whichever goaltender plays better, that team's going to win. No, it's not going out on any kind of limb. It's a pretty obvious statement to make. But, yeah, Bobrovsky's been great. Tuukka Rask has been pretty good in this series as well. Another reason I do kind of like the over for the first period is with that change of venue, some different sight lines here for the two goaltenders. And that can have a little bit of an impact on these guys as we switch locations for this series. So I don't know who wins this game tonight. I think it should be a great one. Maybe another overtime game in the mix here. But I like the first period over 1.5 with both teams looking to get off to a fast start. I'm Adam Burke for BangTheBook.